So picking up where we left off on page 164, we're talking about project management software. This software is kind of specialized. It is a part of the Microsoft Office suite. It's called Microsoft Project, but it does not come with Microsoft Office. Okay? It's part of the family, the Microsoft Office family, but you buy it separately. So it's not part of the suite, but it is part of the family. One other type of document that I use is Microsoft Publisher. If I wanted to put a lost dog photo, a post up, or I want to do, in this case, an anniversary card, okay? Boy, now you guys are going to think I'm a cheapskate because I make my own anniversary cards for my wife. And you're probably right. Anyway, so this is software that's designed specifically for printing. You know, word processing, kind of like, maybe it's printing, maybe it's not. This is exactly for printing. It has no other purpose. So you create your little, you can do business cards, you can do, in this case, it's a fold document, you know, for an honest to God, you know, greeting card kind of a scenario. Okay? Cool. On page 164, again, they talk about accounting software. And if you're in that kind of business, well, then, yeah, you probably do have some line of business accounting software. It could be something very simple, like, you know, QuickBooks or something like that, or it could be an entire enterprise resource planning, an ERP tool, you know, at the corporate level. They talk about personal finance software. And, yeah, we are talking about, you know, you're in business and you can, you know, a small business, and you have like 2 or 3 employees, you need to keep track of payroll taxes, and there's a lot of stuff, and invoices, and so you need a piece of software to help you out. You need a small business package. Well, there are companies out there that do that for a living. Relatively cheap, you keep everything on the computer, and it helps you keep track of all that stuff. So, personal finance software. Some people, you know, they're day traders, and they go in and, you know, play the stock market or, you know, do all sorts of goofy things, and so they need specialized software to help them do their stuff. On 166, they talk about legal software. Almost always, the legal software has an extensive search engine. The way the legal system works in the U.S. is, you know, you have laws that say you can't do this, but there's also court precedents that says you can. And so it's not enough just to read the law that says, nope, you can't do that, because there's 17 times it's been to the court, and all 17 times it's been overturned. So it's still on the books that says you can't, but 17 times out of 17, the court says you could. So you need to be searching the court documents. So the searching of not just the laws, but searching of the court precedents is very important. There's also things, you know, where simple things like I want to produce a will, or I want to do an incorporation, or I want to do a patent application, you know, kind of sort of paperwork related. You know, like you fill out a form and you send it on your way. So legal software. Tax prep software, I know a lot of people that use this. You know, at the end of the year, you gather up all your stuff and you electronically file your taxes. Woohoo! Document management software. So we talked about this on the bottom of page 166, how one of the most popular document management systems out there is the Adobe Acrobat's PDF file format, and it allows me to create documents in a portable way. So let's go see how I did when I created my PDF version of my syllabus. So I just created this thing, and there it all is, and it's pretty cool. It's got some stuff you can do where you can search and all sorts of things, and almost anybody can read this document now. Cool? Okay. And all I have is Adobe Reader. I do not have Adobe Writer. And this drives people crazy because, you know, at home they don't really know the distinction. They don't typically author documents. And so, you know, they'll try to change something in here and hit the save button, and there really isn't a save button per se. I can't create a document using Adobe Reader. Okay. Let's continue. So again, document management. Sometimes there's big document management systems. You might be in a corporate world where you have a document repository, and you have a coding system that you put in, and you know, type. It's like a miniature search engine. You type stuff in, and it zips off to some database and pulls everything back. Kind of cool. On page 167, they talk about support software, and they make references to reference applications and travel applications and retail. I'm not going to go through that. But we do have, let's talk about the large business kind of organization. So I'm in a big business and I've got a line of business kind of software installed. Here's what typically happens in a big business. I've got some human resource software. Allows me to keep track of, pay and leave and all that stuff, contributions to the retirement. I mean, it's an awful lot of stuff that they got to go through that you probably never see. Accounting software, yeah. Engineering, management, marketing, sales, distribution, and contact management. There's actually an entire suite of applications out there called CMS, Contact Management System. And if you're a salesman, you live and die with your CMS system. This allows you to, make contacts and make sales and do follow-ups. It's the lifeblood connectivity between the vendor and the buyer. It's also the source of a lot of the telemarketers calling you on the phone saying, wah, 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 wah. So yeah, it could be a bad thing. But CMS is big business. So even if you're selling cars at a used car lot, you probably want to kind of know when was the last time this guy came by, and what was he interested in the last time when he was here, and what's he got to trade in, and when's the last time he bought a car from me. Lots and lots of information. That'd be kind of cool to know. It would make me a better salesman if I knew all that stuff. So yes, big time. Then talk about specialized software for the IT department, which we're not going to get into. Okay. So let's go into graphics and media software. On page 170, they talk about the CAD, the computer-aided design CAD software. And so this is, I want to build a house. And so I build the floor plans and architectural renderings, and I'll do it, the entire thing electronically on my computer. And then they go out and build my house. That's a very specialized piece of software. It takes specialized training. And we're not going to go into that in this course. Desktop publishing. So I'm in the midst of, I'm going to publish my own document on an e-reader. I've contacted Amazon and I'm getting ready to sell a book. So I write an entire book. I do the entire thing myself. I don't really have a publisher. I don't really have any critics. Don't have any editors. It's just me. And I'm contacting directly through, and I'm doing my own desktop publishing, the entire document, and so there's no middleman to take any money. I just write it directly and get money directly from the sales. Cool. So desktop publishing. That was one of the first things that the Apple computers really excelled in. In the days when we had command line tools and stuff, there was no what you see is what you get kind of screen. You couldn't actually look at something and see exactly how it's going to work. And the Apple people came out to the forefront of that and said, we're going to show you what the document's going to look like. So they were really big time in that kind of world, the desktop publishing. Painting and image software. I'm not an artist, so I don't do any painting, but I kind of tweak photographs from time to time. I'll take a photograph and I'll lighten it or crop it or, resize it, things of that nature. So I need some sort of piece of software to do that, which is kind of more like photo editing than drawing on page 171. Clip art and image gallery. That's what I've been doing here. This is an image gallery guy. It's just a software that allows, this is just the Windows Photo Viewer. It just allows me to go through and view images. Okay, that's it. I can zoom in and do some stuff, but that's about all it does. I will caution you one more time that if you're using clip art, you may make dang sure that you have the rights to use that clip art, because some clip art has licensing to it that says you may not under these circumstances. Or if you use it in this context, it's free, but if you use it in this context, you owe me money. So you have to read the fine print. Okay. Video and audio editing. Hey, I'm doing that right now. I'm authoring a video right this very second, and I'm using a piece of software called Camtasia. And it allows me to record the screen and my voice, and it has a camera, so it records me at the same time. And so, yeah, I'm doing video editing. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, moving right along. On page 174, they talk about there's lots of suites for doing multimedia editing. You can edit, animation and music. You can author music from scratch. You can compose your own music. Great. And then there's things like website authoring. I use a package from Microsoft called Web Matrix, and that's what I use to create web pages from scratch, maintain them, update them, do all that good stuff. On page 175, they talk about media players, and of course, media players is I want to be able to view a video, or I want to listen to something, and you're probably using a video player right this very second, aren't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't be hearing or seeing me, would you? Now, these things could be fairly lightweight. They could be like on a tablet or a phone, or they could be, relatively full-featured kind of piece of software that you have installed on a desktop. But anyway, some sort of a technique that allows you to view, and you could probably stop and pause and fast forward and speed up and slow down. I kind of like that cool feature. On page 176, they talk about disk burning software. And so I have a CD-ROM, and I go to the store and I buy me a blank CD-ROM, and I want to save information on there, and for whatever reason it's called burning. I burn data onto a CD-ROM, and depending on how you do it, you can burn it one time, or you can fix it so you can burn over and over and over and over a certain number of times. But anyway, a lot of people don't particularly like the CD authoring software that's available in the operating system, so they go to a third party. I use one called Nero, which allows me to have greater control on what gets written to the disk. Okay, so CD burning software. Okay, personal interest applications, we'll go through that rather quickly, but lifestyle applications, I'm a fitness freak and I want to keep up with fitness, or my mother is into knitting, so she has knitting software. Medical applications, of course, that sometimes drives the doctors crazy, because people come in self-diagnosed. Well, I think I have tuberculosis. They go, no, sit down, let's check it out. Entertainment, oh yeah, big time. I want to watch TV, I want to watch videos on YouTube. Convenience applications, that's cool. And education, woohoo, we're doing that now. Alright, so they talk about communication applications. So here we go. Here's a list of communication techniques, blogging being one. I love blog. It started out being web log, 2 words, web log, and then somehow the B and the E got separated and it turned into we blog. At least that's what the internet rumors say. God only knows where the real thing came from. That's just a story. But so I blog, you blog, we blog, so blogging. Okay, and all it basically means is I go to some piece of software, some website that allows me to have a stream of consciousness type of things that I scribble. And I can talk about, what I ate for dinner. It doesn't matter what it is. So some sort of articles that talk about software, so articles of whatever is of interest to me. Instant messaging. You guys know what we're talking about here. This is where I send you a blip on your phone, a text message on your phone, or perhaps to your PC. If you're in a corporate world, we used to have a scenario where I could send a note to my coworker across the room with little instant messaging. And then corporate went nuts and said, you guys are wasting too much time with this instant messaging stuff, so we're going to take it off. And so they took all the instant messaging tools away from us. So again, instant messaging may be saving you time for not having to get out of your chair and walk across the room, but that's not the way they saw it. They saw it as wasting time. Okay, this is a good place to stop for the 15-minute mark. We'll pick this thing up again in just a few.